Our story take place in Jango City, May 20th, 2024. A colossal purple portal materialized in the sky above Jango City, emitting an ominous glow. Moments later, a deafening announcement reverberated across the city. Another spatial rift had appeared. From this tier in reality emerged a horde of monstrous creatures that immediately began wreaking havoc, plunging the city into chaos. In response, an elite task force known as the 3rd Division of the Korean Defense Force, or simply the Hunters, was dispatched. These highly trained individuals, each possessing extraordinary abilities such as super strength, enhanced speed, and elemental manipulation, were humanity's front line of defense against these incursions. The Hunters engaged the monsters with precision and efficiency, quickly turning the tide in their favor. However, their momentum was short-lived. A gold-tier monster, the Wolf King of the 6-eared wolf tribe, emerged from the portal. Towering over the battlefield, the Wolf King swiftly killed one of the strongest hunters before turning to the others with a menacing declaration. "These insignificant humans dare to resist? Wiping you out is only a matter of time." With those words, the Wolf King entered the fray, decimating human soldiers with devastating ease. Its attacks left nothing but carnage in their wake, and even the hunters found themselves overwhelmed. The situation grew increasingly dire. Amidst the chaos, a high-ranking official, Mr. Wen Yuan, arrived on the battlefield with lightning speed. Commanding an air of authority, he ordered the 3rd Division Hunters to focus on containing the other threats, leaving the Wolf King to him. Inspired by his presence, the Hunters redoubled their efforts. A fierce battle ensued between Mr. Wen Yuan and the Wolf King. Meanwhile, the 3rd Division successfully closed the portal and neutralized the remaining monsters. Later, the division's leader reported their success to her superior, emphasizing Mr. Wen Yuan's critical role in defeating the invading 6-eared demon wolf tribe. Although the superior commended her efforts, he expressed concern over the growing frequency of rifts. This was the 6th in the last decade, and it was only a C-class portal. At this rate, Jiangzhou's defenses would not hold for long. To address the escalating crisis, he announced a significant policy change. Wuda Martial Academy would now exempt awakened individuals from cultural exams, and the admission thresholds for martial artists would be halved. The 3rd Division leader was tasked with overseeing the policy's implementation and ensuring smooth coordination with the academy. Wuda Martial Academy. The bell rang, signaling the end of the first class of the day. In one classroom, a student stared blankly out the window, lost in thought. His friend nudged him. "You're zoning out again. If you don't focus, you won't qualify for Wuda Academy. Do you want to embarrass yourself?" The student shrugged, replying absent-mindedly, "Wouldn't it be great to sit next to someone like Lin Yanran?" Lin Yanran, widely regarded as the academy's top beauty, was admired by nearly everyone. However, her attention was focused solely on Subai, the protagonist of our story, who happened to sit next to her. Smiling, she asked, "Graduation is coming up. Are you planning to apply to the Literary Academy or Wuda Academy?" Subai, still engrossed in his book, responded with a sigh. "I'm not sure. My grades are average, so the Literary Academy isn't an option. And as for Wuda Academy, my family can't afford the supplements I'd need. Besides, I don't have any special abilities or talents. Honestly, I have no idea what to do." Frustration welled up within him. If I've truly transmigrated to another world, shouldn't there be some kind of life-altering opportunity? An awakened system? Anything? Yes, Subai had transmigrated from another world, though he was beginning to doubt whether it had made any real difference in his life. Yanran, ever patient, suggested softly, "Why don't you join me in applying to the Literary Academy? I have a way to guarantee your admission." Startled, Subai asked, "What do you mean?" "Keep your voice down," Yanran replied. Before she could explain further, a translucent window suddenly appeared before Subai's eyes. Shocked, he froze. The window displayed a system interface bound to him, detailing his stats. Species: ordinary. Initial stage: talent, evolution. Trait: trainer. The system explained its core functions. As a trainer, Subai could form contracts with living beings and train them, with their progress feeding back into his own. His evolution talent allowed limitless growth for his contracted individuals, enabling them to break through racial and physical limits. The progression levels were ordinary, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, low tier, mid-tier, and divine, with each level divided into initial, intermediate, and advanced stages. For the first time, Subai felt a spark of hope. This system could be the key to his future. However, as he stared at the interface, Yanran's voice broke his concentration. "Are you all right?" she asked, concerned. Realizing that only he could see the system, Subai quickly reassured her. Grabbing her hand, he replied, "I'm fine." Yanran blushed at his touch, while the rest of the class erupted in fury. "Get your hands off our goddess!" one boy shouted. Another added, "Sitting next to her isn't enough for you." Before the situation escalated further, a stunningly beautiful teacher entered the room. Her commanding presence silenced the students instantly. "Calm down, everyone," she said. "I have important news. Jiangzhou Martial Academy has just announced that awakened individuals are now exempt from cultural exams. Students with preliminary martial artist physiques will also see their academic requirements halved." The class erupted into cheers. For many, this announcement meant their dreams of attending Wuda Academy could finally become a reality. As the class ended, the teacher addressed the students. "Those of you who have already awakened abilities or possess a martial foundation, please come to my office to register." Hearing this announcement, Subai's thoughts wandered. "This is interesting. I just awakened my abilities, and now I'm exempt from exams to enter Wuda Academy." Yanran, noticing his contemplative expression, wondered if he was genuinely considering Wuda Academy. Outside, Subai walked home through the bustling streets, appearing like an ordinary teenager to anyone who passed by, but appearances were deceptive. Subai was anything but ordinary. He had been transmigrated into this strange world 17 years ago, a world vastly different from his original one. In this world, everything changed on September 18, 1906, when a massive space rift appeared in the sky. From this rift poured countless strange and ferocious beasts which wreaked havoc across the globe. Armies from various nations fought valiantly against the alien creatures. It took 3 months of relentless combat to eliminate the beasts from the initial rift. However, as long as the rifts remained open, more beasts would periodically emerge. Faced with an unending threat, humanity formed death squads to enter the rifts and explore the unknown. What they discovered was a vast, boundless land beyond the portals. To stem the flow of alien beasts, the military forces of various nations constructed bases inside the rifts, battling the creatures at their source. This marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. By March 6, 1907, a second rift had appeared. 2 months later, a third followed. Then came the fourth and the fifth. Over the next century, the number of rifts increased exponentially, and their appearances became more frequent. Each rift harbored unique alien species. Scientists named the territories beyond the rifts the battlefield of 10,000 races. Earth also began to change. The spiritual energy of the planet recovered, awakening martial abilities and supernatural powers in humans. As the battles intensified, conventional weapons proved ineffective, while the power of awakened individuals continued to grow. These individuals eventually replaced traditional weapons as humanity's primary line of defense. To this day, the war between humanity and the 10,000 races rages on. Judging from the recent reforms at Jiangzhou Martial Academy, Subai could sense that the situation in Jiangzhou had become critical. "Now that I've awakened this system, I might as well use it to protect my family in this chaotic world," Subai resolved. He knew that the fastest way to strengthen himself was through military-supported martial academies like Wuda. Fortunately, his trainer ability gave him a unique advantage. With just one trained beast, he could secure a place at Wuda without taking the entrance exam. The beast shop. Determined, Subai returned home to retrieve his savings. A modest 2,000 yuan he had carefully set aside over the years. With this, he made his way to a beast shop to acquire his first trainee. However, upon entering the shop, something felt off. "Why isn't the system reacting?" he thought. According to its description, the system should automatically detect suitable beasts. Yet, there was no response. A shop assistant approached him with a polite smile. "Welcome! How can I help you today?" "I'm a beast trainer," Subai replied. "What kinds of beasts do you have available?" The assistant pointed to a sleek, black cat sitting near the entrance. "This is a nether cat. It may look ordinary, but it carries the bloodline of the nether panther. With proper training, it could easily reach the silver rank. It's priced at 36,000 yuan. Subai was taken aback. 36,000 for a single black cat? The assistant then led him to another enclosure, showcasing a muscular, 4-eared dog. "This is a descendant of the 6-eared demon wolf. Despite its impressive lineage, it's more affordable. Just 33,000 yuan. One by one, the assistant introduced more beasts, each more exotic than the last. And with every introduction, the prices climbed higher. Subai's hopes began to waver. Finally, the assistant turned to him. So, which beast do you think suits you best? As the shop assistant turned around to ask Subai about his choice, she realized he was nowhere to be found. Subai had quietly left the shop after seeing the exorbitant prices. Are they robbing me? He muttered under his breath. Just because it has a little beast bloodline, they price it like gold. And where's my system? Isn't there anything suitable for me here? Disappointed, he returned home. As he stepped through the door, a system notification suddenly appeared. Detected a suitable beginner taming creature. Little turtle, would you like to tame it? Subai was startled. The system was finally responding. When he saw the creature's name, he turned toward his father's pet turtle and wondered, is it talking about this little guy? At that moment, the turtle's information popped up. Name, little turtle, level, common, initial stage, bloodline, Zhuanwu, turtle, traces. Attributes, Constitution 2, Defense 2, Spirit 2, Speed 2, Ability, turtle shell, defense, evolution, method, eating, potential, infinite growth, capable of slaying gods. Subai stared at the information in shock. His father's seemingly ordinary turtle had traces of the legendary Zhuanwu turtle bloodline, a creature with limitless potential. Excited, he jumped up and shouted, Zhuanwu bloodline! Now that's more like it. This thing could be worth a fortune. But no way am I trading it. It's mine! However, his celebration was short-lived. His loud exclamations drew the attention of his sister, Su Xia, who stormed out of her room. Subai, what are you doing with little 8? That's Dad's treasure. Startled, Subai quickly put the turtle down and replied, I didn't do anything. But as soon as he let go, little 8 darted into a grocery bag and devoured all the food inside in seconds. Both Subai and Su Xia stared in disbelief at the now ravenous turtle. Why is little 8 eating so much? Su Xia asked, incredulous. We just fed it this morning. Seeing the turtle's insatiable appetite, Subai remembered the system notification. Its appetite must have increased because it's evolving, he muttered. Turning to his sister, he said, I'll find it more food. Half an hour later, their parents returned home. Walking into the house, Subai's father and mother froze. The place was a disaster. Food containers were overturned, wrappers littered the floor, and the entire kitchen had been ravaged. What happened here? Were we robbed? His mother exclaimed. Little 8, now chasing Su Xia for her last snack, had the family in a frenzy. Subai's father rubbed his eyes and asked, Is this our turtle? Can turtles even run this fast? Realizing he couldn't hide the truth, Subai explained the situation. His parents were stunned. In just half an hour, the once ordinary turtle had turned their house upside down. As he watched his parents' expressions of disbelief, Subai thought, they're already struggling as it is. I can't tell them little 8 is a bottomless pit. I'll figure this out on my own. Eventually, little 8 stopped eating, seemingly satisfied. Just as Su Xia was scolding it, the turtle's body emitted a faint glow. Suddenly, a large mechanical shell emerged from its back, transforming its appearance entirely. What's happening? Subai asked, shocked. Is this glutton finally full, or is it awakening its bloodline? The next day, little 8's explosive transformation seemed to have passed, but the Zhuanwu bloodline had not fully awakened. Instead, the turtle's appetite had grown even more insatiable. To keep up with its demands, Subai decided to return to the pet shop. As he entered, he noticed 2 other customers already browsing. The shop assistant greeted him warmly. Welcome back! Have you decided on a purchase? Subai shook his head. I'm not here to buy today. Leaning in closer, he added, I have exotic beast blood. Are you buying? The assistant's expression shifted to shock. Exotic beast blood? Are you serious? Hearing those words, one of the customers, who had been quietly browsing, immediately turned his attention to Subai. Without a word, the customer abandoned his purchase and strode toward him. Did I hear correctly? The man asked. You have exotic beast blood? The shopkeeper, recognizing the importance of this transaction, dismissed his staff member and personally approached Subai. With a warm smile, he said, Young man, let's sit down and have a chat. You mentioned you have exotic beast blood. Would you mind letting me examine it? Subai handed over a small vial of the beast blood and nodded. Go ahead. As the shopkeeper opened the vial and took a sniff, his eyes widened in shock. This is genuine exotic beast blood, and of exceptionally high quality. He turned to Subai and asked, How much are you asking for it? Subai hesitated. It had taken significant effort to extract even that small amount from Little Turtle, so he figured it must be worth at least $100. However, before he could state his price, the shopkeeper offered him $1,000. What? $1,000? Subai blurted out in shock. Misinterpreting Subai's reaction as dissatisfaction, the shopkeeper chuckled nervously. Ah, just a joke. For such a high-quality product, of course, it's worth at least $10,000. Subai's jaw dropped. What? $10,000? The shopkeeper, thinking Subai was still unimpressed, quickly raised his offer. All right, $15,000, that's my final offer. Subai barely contained his excitement. Who would have guessed that Little Turtle's blood is this valuable? He thought, turning around to hide his growing grin. After a brief moment, he composed himself and replied, Fine, it's a deal. If it weren't for the fact that I need money, I wouldn't even consider selling it. The shopkeeper personally escorted Subai out of the store, saying, Take care, young man. If you come across more treasures like this, you're always welcome here. As Subai walked away, he checked his balance and grinned from ear to ear. $15,000 just fell into my lap. Little Turtle can be proud of himself this time. An alleyway. While walking home, Subai received a call from his teacher, Miss Lee. She informed him, The results for the Cultural Studies exams are out, and there's an important announcement. Please come to school this afternoon to fill out your application form. And don't be late. Subai tried to ask about the announcement, but the call dropped due to his unreliable phone. This phone is useless, he muttered, shoving it back into his pocket. Distracted, he wandered into an unfamiliar alleyway. Suddenly, a system notification appeared before him. Warning: 3 individuals with malicious intent detected within 10 meters of the host. Be cautious. Enemy 1, beginner cultivator. Enemy 2, ordinary person. Enemy 3, ordinary person. Startled, Subai glanced around and noticed 3 men blocking the alley. All of them were armed, and the leader was a familiar face. The same man he had seen talking to the pet shop owner earlier. The leader sneered. Hand over your belongings. Judging by the pet shop owner's reaction, you must have something valuable. Subai clenched his fists, frustration building. Why is my luck so bad today? He glared at the thugs and said, I sold something at the shop. I didn't buy anything. Unmoved, the thug leader growled. Just give us the money, kid. Realizing he had no intention of surrendering, Subai devised a plan. Fine, I'll hand it over. He reached into his bag and pulled out Little Turtle. Whispering to it, he said, Retract into your shell. Little Turtle immediately obeyed. Subai hurled the turtle like a rock at the thug leader, who raised his bat to block the incoming object. The turtle struck the bat with a loud clang, causing the leader to stagger. Furious, the thug shouted, You little bastard! Before he could retaliate, Subai seized the opportunity and delivered a sharp kick to the thug leader's groin, sending him crumpling to the ground in agony. The remaining 2 thugs, shocked by their leader's condition, charged at Subai. How dare you touch our boss? Subai called out to Little Turtle. Latch onto my fist! The turtle immediately complied, clinging to Subai's hand like a boxing glove. Subai swung his fist, landing a devastating punch on one thug's face and sending him flying into a wall. He then spun around and slammed his turtle-enhanced fist into the second thug's head, knocking him unconscious. The thug leader, writhing in pain, managed to stand. You're dead, kid! I'll kill you! Subai didn't hesitate. Turtle, into your shell! Little Turtle retracted once more, and Subai hurled it at the thug leader with all his strength. The turtle struck the man squarely, knocking him out cold. Panting, Subai picked up his bag and warned the defeated thugs. Don't mess with me again. As he turned to leave, he noticed Little Turtle rummaging through the thug leader's belongings. What are you doing now? He asked. To his surprise, Little Turtle pulled out a small bottle and began drinking its contents. Alarmed, Subai rushed over and snatched the bottle. What are you eating? Did you find something good? Inspecting the bottle, Subai's eyes widened. It was a chi blood potion, a rare and expensive item worth tens of thousands of dollars. You glutton, Subai muttered, though he couldn't help but smile. Not bad, Little Turtle. Not bad at all. As the little turtle began to glow, Subai noticed it was struggling. The chi blood potion it had consumed was potent, enough for a cultivator to absorb over the course of a month. Yet, Little Turtle had devoured it in one go. Worried, Subai muttered, Can it even handle this? But what happened next shocked him. Not only did Little Turtle's body glow brighter, but Subai's own body began to radiate a golden light. A surge of energy coursed through him, and he felt an intense wave of strength washing over his body. "What's happening?" he exclaimed, quickly opening his status window. To his astonishment, Subai discovered that he had advanced to a mid-stage ordinary level hunter. His constitution had risen to 16, with a base value of 10, and an inherited value of 6 from Little Turtle. Furthermore, he now had 2 talents. Evolution. Tamed beasts undergo unlimited evolution, with no cap on grade, even up to the mythical level. Their attributes and talents are partially inherited by the host, and the higher their grade, the greater the inheritance. 2. Turtle Skin Defense. Consumes physical energy to activate. When activated, the host's skin is covered in a layer of turtle-like armor, significantly boosting defense. Subai was speechless. This chi blood potion is incredible. Not only did my stats increase so much, but I also gained a new talent. Little Turtle 2 had undergone a transformation. Its grade had advanced to mid-stage ordinary, and its Xuanwu bloodline remained dormant, but on the verge of partial activation. Upon reaching the bronze grade, its bloodline would begin to awaken, dramatically enhancing its attributes. From a base of 2 points in each attribute, Little Turtle's stats had skyrocketed. Constitution, 32, Defense, 38, Agility, 10, Spirit, 10. It now possessed 2 talents. 1. Turtle, Shell, Defense. When activated, the entire body retracts into the shell, increasing defense by 300%. While in this state, it cannot move or attack. 2. Turtle Skin, Defense. Consumes physical energy to enhance defense by 50% to 100%. Little Turtle's body had grown larger, and Subai couldn't help but marvel. Even power-type beasts only have attributes around 30 when they're high-stage ordinary grade. Little Turtle hasn't even awakened its bloodline yet, and it's already this strong. I can't imagine how powerful it'll be when its Xuanwu bloodline fully activates. Little Turtle, proud of its transformation, beamed with satisfaction. Subai picked it up, smiling. "All right, you've eaten your share. Let's leave this place quickly." At school, Teacher Lee addressed the class. "The results for the Cultural Studies exams have been released. I'll be collecting application forms to consolidate your intentions. Additionally, I have an important announcement." The class quieted down as she continued. "A special recruitment teacher from Wu University will be visiting our school to assess candidates for their abilities. Like last year, there are 2 guaranteed admission spots available." As the students filled out their application forms, Yanran turned to Subai. "Have you decided? Are you applying to Wen College or Wu University?" Without hesitation, Subai replied, "Wu University. I have to get in." Yanran's expression changed to one of concern. "Subai, I told you to apply to Wen College with me. Do you understand what it means to go to Wu University? Students there are required to fight on the front lines. Do you realize how dangerous that is?" Subai smiled reassuringly. "Someone has to go to the battlefields. It might as well be me." Then, looking directly at Yanran, he added, "And besides, I have my reasons. I need to protect someone important to me." Hearing this, Yanran's face turned red as she misunderstood his meaning. "Someone important? Could it be me?" she thought, her heart racing. Before she could respond, a teacher approached her desk. "Yanran, which academy are you applying to?" Yanran hesitated, unsure how to answer. Seeing her uncertainty, Subai thought, she probably hasn't awakened any special abilities, and she's never trained physically. She'll most likely choose Wen College. After a brief pause, Yanran finally replied, "I haven't decided yet. I'd like to think about it a little longer." Teacher Lee stood before the class and spoke with a serious tone. "This is a crucial decision for each and every one of you. Take your results home and discuss them with your parents. Your application intentions must be submitted no later than midnight." With that, the class was dismissed, and the students began to leave. Yanran returned home, and, while taking a bath, decided to call Subai. Blushing slightly, she told him, "I've made my decision. I'm applying to Wu University too." Subai, who was busy cleaning his house, was caught off guard. "What, are you serious?" he asked. "I'm serious," Yanran replied confidently. "I've thought it through and I've decided. Also, I have a surprise for you." While they were talking, Subai noticed Little Turtle sneaking food again. "Sorry, Yanran," he said. "I've got something important to deal with right now. Let's talk later." Ending the call, he turned to the turtle and yelled, "You good for nothing! How can you eat so much?" The next day, the stadium. The students gathered in the school stadium, where Teacher Lee warmly welcomed a guest onto the stage. "Today, we're honored to have Instructor Zhang Kai with us. He is both our principal and a senior instructor." Instructor Zhang stepped onto the stage and addressed the students. His commanding voice filled the stadium. 1 year ago, 126 students entered this school. Today, 65 of them are still alive. 2 years ago, 98 students started their journey here, and only 32 remain. 3 years ago, 86 students enrolled, and now only 11 are still standing. The crowd grew silent, a sense of fear settling over the students. "I'm not saying this to scare you," Zhang continued. "I want you to understand that being here is not something to be proud of. From this point on, you will face challenges, responsibilities, and dangers. Your duty is to protect your country, and this will require unwavering courage and resilience." His gaze swept across the crowd. "Wuda is a place where the strong are cultivated. Do you have what it takes to stand among them?" The students shouted in unison. "Yes," Zhang smiled. "Very good. I look forward to seeing your performances in the upcoming examinations." As the speech concluded, the students began returning to their classes. However, Teacher Li stopped Subai and asked him to wait. She and Instructor Zhang approached him. Subai, confused, asked, "Is there a problem?" Zhang looked at him intently. "Are you Subai?" "Yes, that's me," he replied. Zhang nodded. "There's been a space reserved for you at Wuda University. You are to head there immediately and prepare for the entrance examination." Subai was stunned. "A reserved space? For me? I don't understand. I'm just an ordinary student." Zhang smiled. "The arrangements have been confirmed. There's a vehicle waiting for you at the school's entrance." The news spread quickly, leaving everyone in shock. Some students murmured complaints about favoritism, while others were green with envy, wishing they were in Subai's position. Arrival at Wuda Academy. Subai and several other students boarded the bus and soon arrived at Wuda University. The sight of the sprawling campus left everyone in awe. Majestic buildings towered above, and a sense of grandeur filled the air. An instructor greeted them at the entrance. "Follow me," he said, leading them through the campus. As they walked, the students noticed a massive rock pillar standing prominently in the middle of the academy. The instructor pointed to it and said, "That's our school's motto. It serves as a reminder of the ideals we strive for." Subai was captivated by the imposing monument and its significance. The instructor continued to guide them, first to collect their uniforms, and then to the dormitories. Standing outside the male dormitory, he said, "This is where you'll be staying. Take some time to rest and change into your uniforms. There will be an announcement shortly regarding the examination schedule." Dormitory Room 303. Subai approached his new room, Room 303, and heard a voice from inside. "In the early stages of martial arts training, resources are the most important." He knocked on the door and announced himself. "Hello, it's Subai. I'm assigned to this room too." There was no response, so he stepped in. Inside, 3 students were engrossed in a conversation. A red-haired boy proudly held up a small bottle. "These are 3 drops of extremely rare monster blood from Yu Mountain. My father bought them and had an experienced pharmacist process them into top-quality medicine. This stuff isn't something you see every day." The other 2 boys leaned closer to examine the bottle. One of them said, "So this is what rare monster blood looks like. I've never seen anything like it." The other boy added, "I've bought high-grade products before, but this is on another level." At that moment, Subai entered the room. "Hi, I'm Subai. I've been assigned to dormitory 303 as well." The red-haired boy turned to him and smiled. "So you're Subai. Great, we're all here now." He introduced himself as Han Jiagong, and then gestured to the other 2. "This is Tao Jiajun, and that's Fan Chaoan." Subai greeted them. "Nice to meet you all." Han Jiagong waved off the formalities. "No need to be so polite, Subai. We're dorm mates now. Come take a look at this." He proudly displayed the bottle of monster blood again. "My father went through a lot of trouble to get this. He sent people across the country just to obtain these drops." Hearing Yu Mountain and 3 drops mentioned, Subai's heart skipped a beat. "Could it be the same blood I sold to the pet shop?" he wondered. Feigning curiosity, he asked, "Such rare blood must have been expensive, right?" Han Jiagang smirked. "Not really. Each drop cost around 30,000, so less than 100,000 in total. It's practically spare change." Subai's jaw clenched. "That slimy pet shop owner," he thought. "I sold it to him for 30,000 in total, and he resold it for 100,000. Blasted middlemen." While Subai seethed internally, a commotion erupted outside. Loud voices echoed through the dormitory hall, drawing everyone's attention. Scene. Men's dormitory students were crowding by the windows and balconies, buzzing with excitement. One of them exclaimed, "Wow, look at her! I'm definitely voting for her in this year's beauty contest." Another chimed in, "That figure, those legs. She's the goddess of Wuda. The warden of the men's dormitory stepped outside to confront the girl causing the uproar. Excuse me, miss, this is the men's dormitory. Who are you looking for? The beautiful girl, composed and graceful, replied, I'm here to see Subai. The warden turned toward the building and shouted, If there's a Subai here, come out. There's a pretty girl waiting for you downstairs. Inside, room 303, Han Jiagong and the others froze, staring at Subai in disbelief. Did she just say Subai? Tao Jiajun asked, dumbfounded. Han Jiagong smirked and shook his head. Our roommate Subai. That can't be right. Fan Chaoan muttered, Brother Subai might be more than he seems. Scene, outside the dormitory. As Subai stepped outside in his new uniform, Yanran's eyes lit up. Smiling warmly, she approached him. Subai, that uniform suits you perfectly. Before Subai could reply, Yanran moved closer, adjusting his collar with delicate hands. There, she said. Now you look even more handsome. Subai blushed, his heart racing at her closeness. The dormitory's windows erupted with shouts of outrage from the other boys. Die, you bastard! Don't lay a finger on our goddess. Ignoring the chaos, Yanran stepped back and said, I wanted to ask about the reserved space. You're not angry, right? Subai shook his head. I'm not angry, but I had planned to sit for the test myself. He patted her head gently and added, Still, you did it for me, so thank you. Yanran laughed softly. I was scared you'd be mad, but instead, you're thanking me. She handed him a bag and said, The entrance exam is the day after tomorrow. I prepared some pills for you to help with your energy. Subai looked at the bag in surprise. You've already helped me so much. You should keep these for yourself. Yanran ignored his protests, waving goodbye as she ran off. No excuses, Subai. Just take them. The boys in the dormitory grew even more furious. Did he just touch her head? Who is this guy? Find out who he is. He's fighting for her heart. Scene, back in the dormitory. When Subai returned to his room, Han Jiagang and the others greeted him with exaggerated respect. Brother Su! Han Jiagang exclaimed, clapping Subai on the back. Confused, Subai asked, Why are you all acting like this? Han Jiagong and Tao Jiajun pulled him to a chair. Brother, sit down. We'll explain everything. As they started massaging his shoulders, Tao Jiajun grinned. That goddess who came looking for you just now, who is she? Subai blinked. What goddess? Fan Chaoan rolled his eyes. Don't play dumb, Brother Su. The school beauty Lin Yanran. You were talking to her outside just now. Subai sighed. Oh, Yanran, we're just high school classmates. The room fell silent as the three stared at him in disbelief. Han Jiagong leaned in close. Brother Su, since we're dormmates now, surely you can convince that goddess to bring some of her friends over to meet us. Subai hesitated, unsure how to respond. Seeing his hesitation, Han Jiagong patted his shoulder. Don't worry, Brother Su. It's your first time meeting us, so we'll treat you to a good dinner tonight. We'll chat more then. Without waiting for Subai's agreement, they finalized their plans and left the room. Subai chuckled to himself. These guys are really something else. He picked up the bag Yanran had given him and took out Little Turtle. All right, Little Turtle, come out for some fresh air. Opening the bag, he found a blood essence potion inside. Little Turtle's eyes immediately lit up at the sight of it. Subai laughed mischievously. You like it, don't you? You know what to do after drinking this, right? Little Turtle, sensing Subai's intent, shivered slightly, but nodded reluctantly. At the hotel. Later that evening, Subai joined his roommates at a high-end hotel. As they arrived, he couldn't help but comment, Han Jiagang, isn't this place a bit much? A high-end hotel just for dinner? Han Jiagong laughed. Relax, Brother Su. Just focus on enjoying yourself. Leave the rest to us. Once inside their private room, Han Jiagong raised his glass. Brothers, I feel incredibly lucky to have met you all here at Wuda, especially someone as amazing as Brother Su. A toast to our new friendship. They all raised their glasses and clinked them together. Subai smiled and gestured for them to sit. We're dormmates now. There's no need for formalities. As they settled in, Subai said, About Yanran, yes, we were high school classmates. Since you're so curious, I might be able to convince her to introduce some of her friends. But let's talk about that in the future. Hanjin, I need your help with something. Han Jiagong, curious, leaned forward. What do you need help with? Brother Su. Subai took out a small vial filled with deep red liquid and placed it on the table. It's not a big deal, really. I just have some rare monster blood and need help dealing with it. The room fell silent as Tao Jiajun and Fan Chaoan stared at the vial in shock. Brother Su! Tao Jiajun exclaimed. This monster blood looks even better than the one Han Jin showed us earlier. Han Jiagong inspected the vial closely, his expression serious. This This isn't just better quality, it's in a league of its own. Brother Su, this monster blood is way too rare. I need to call my father. He'll know how to handle it. Subai chuckled. There's no rush. Let's finish our meal first. But Han Jiagang had already dialed his father. The phone rang, and his father's stern voice answered. Little Jin, have you blown through your pocket money already? I sent you to Wuda to grow stronger, not waste time. Han Jiagong cut him off. Dad, this isn't about money, it's serious. My classmate has 7 drops of rare, high-quality monster blood. Better than the 3 drops you got last time. I didn't want to decide on a price without consulting you. There was a pause on the other end. 7 drops? His father asked in disbelief. Are you sure it's better than the last batch? Han Jiagong confidently replied, You need to come see for yourself. His father's tone shifted. Send me the address. I'll send Master Cao over immediately. 1 hour later, Han Jiagong's father arrived with Master Cao, an expert in rare medicinal resources. As soon as Master Cao saw the vial of monster blood, his eyes widened with admiration. This is exquisite, Master Cao said, holding the vial carefully. It's the purest monster blood I've ever seen, with the highest energy content imaginable. This could create potions and elixirs of unparalleled quality. Han Jiagong's father frowned. Master Cao, aren't you exaggerating? Master Cao shook his head. I'm not exaggerating at all. Even with the best equipment, the value of this blood would only increase. Han Jiagong, amazed, exclaimed, Damn! Brother Su, who knew your monster blood, was this overpowered? Master Cao approached Subai respectfully. Young man, what's your price for this monster blood? Subai replied calmly. My friend told me this blood shouldn't be sold for money. It should only be exchanged for blood essence of equivalent value. Han Jiagong's father, impressed by Subai's demeanor, said, Since you're little Jin's classmate, and I'm your senior, I won't shortchange you. I'll take all 7 drops and give you 14 bottles of blood essence in exchange. How does that sound? Subai nodded. That sounds fair. After the exchange, Han Jiagong's father smiled and said, Young man, have you considered joining a family? If you join the Han family, we'll provide you with resources for free. Think of the possibilities. Subai politely declined. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not planning to join any family for now. Han Jiagong's father pressed on, his tone firm. Reconsider. The Han family could offer you unmatched opportunities. Scene, Yanran's intervention. Suddenly, a loud voice came from outside. Subai said no. No one is allowed to force him to join any family. The door burst open, and Yanran stepped inside, her eyes blazing with anger. Do you understand? She demanded, glaring at Han Jiagong's father. Subai was stunned. Yanran? What are you doing here? Yanran turned to him, her expression softening. I came to settle some issues of my own. I didn't expect to find you here. Han Jiagong's father, initially angry at her interruption, was about to retort when Master Cao stopped him, whispering urgently in his ear. Master Cao glanced at Yanran and spoke in a hushed tone. Sir, do you recognize who she is? That's Lin Yanran, the direct descendant of the Lin family. Han Jiagong's father froze, his face paling. The Lin family? Master Cao nodded. Yes, and given her demeanor, she's no ordinary member of the family. Tread carefully.